Hey there, Guardians. Last week, I was interested in finding out how effective Lucky Raspberry was after the Season of the Witch buffs. I compared this Lucky Raspberry to Shinobu's Vow, which is what last week's build video was. If you want to take a look at that, link is somewhere in the description video. I'm not actually sure how to do that. This week, I was interested in exploring the Lucky Raspberry. The results, kind of surprising, a little disappointing. But let's see what kind of build we can put together. Lucky Raspberry basically improves the chaining abilities of Arc Bolt grenades, damaging enemies with Jolt, and collecting ionic traces. Both grant additional Arc Bolt grenade energy, and the Arc Bolt grenades stun Overload champions inherently through Lucky Raspberry. The subclass configuration is not too different from a Shinobu's Vow build. You're still using the same super. I still went with Gambler's Dodge and Combination Blow just as a safety net in case I really needed Orbs of Power in a pinch. Grenade, obviously have to go with Arc Bolt Grenade, otherwise you're being silly. Aspects are the same, it's still Lethal Current with Flow State. Fragment-wise, I believe I didn't change too much on this. We have Spark of Shock, which jolts targets with your grenade. Lucky Raspberry notably does not give you Jolt on the grenade, even though it does stun Overload champions. You're going to want this because defeating a jolted target creates an Ionic Trace, which is kind of double dipping into that. So not only are we getting grenade energy back when we damage a jolted target, but also when we defeat one too, and that's kind of nice. Spark Resistance is just a really nice touch onto a PvE build, and Spark of Amplitude, defeating targets rapidly, creates Orb of Power, and with our mod setup, Orbs of Power will also give us grenade energy. For mods, I went with something like this. So the idea is just like have some Siphon mods, just to create Orbs of Power through your weapon kills. Firepower is just nice for more orb generation. I throw an impact induction on top of this just so that in case my grenade was low, I can start just punching things to get my grenade energy back, which is kind of like a nice little thing to do. The mod setup on my legs is kind of interesting because I'm using Innervation, which gives grenade energy, but also Orbs of Restoration. The reason why is that you're very unlikely to be using your class ability and your melee ability. It's mostly your grenade ability using this build. So in a way, we get a second Innervation without having the diminishing returns of a second Innervation. Class item, pretty straightforward. Reaper, Bomber, Powerful Attraction. This is just like a classic, I think. Through my playtesting, I found that this build is very weapon specific. It relies very much on your ability to jolt targets. The fragments I picked only gave jolt for grenades, which meant if you wanted more grenade refund, you needed more abilities to apply jolt. Therefore, I believe this build functions incredibly well, almost in a pleasant quality of life way that you do need a weapon with Volt Shot. Luckily, there's quite a few good options out there. You have Tarnished Metal as a scout rifle if you want to play that long range. If you want shorter range, you have the Icarus SMG. You also have Nation of Beasts from the Last Wish raid. If you want a Trace Rifle, you have Shoot to Loot and Volt Shot on a path of least resistance. There's a couple of ways you can go about this. That being said, even with a weapon with Volt Shot, I've still found myself in scenarios where I wish I had a grenade. When I played a Shinobu's Vow grenade build, I found myself always having a grenade whenever I needed it. It was very rare that I thought like, oh, I don't have a grenade available whatsoever. I need to like save up my grenade energy. Whereas with the Lucky Raspberry build, I did find myself missing a grenade whenever I needed it. So the ability energy is not quite there. It also doesn't help that the Arc Bolt grenade is just kind of a strange grenade to begin with. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's not clicking with my brain personally. Maybe it clicks for you, but for me, it was really difficult to tell when a grenade was actually going to hit a target. Sometimes it felt like it was missing or things like that. So it was a little confusing to use. Overall, I think if you care about using the Lucky Raspberry, I think you won't be disappointed. It's certainly usable in most content, but if you want specifically like a grenade build, I would say Shinobu's Vow gives you a better experience. Now, if you love Arc Bolt grenades or you love cosplaying as Eris Morn, like, you'll be fine with this, with what I put together. And that's all I have for today's video. It's a little bit on the shorter side. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you all next time. Good luck out there, Guardians, getting all that candy.